Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the podcast. Big sports week. The Olympics are underway. Super Bowl happened this past Sunday, and we also had the Phoenix Open or the Waste Management Open on Sunday, and it's a unique tournament. It's something I'll get into that a little later. But wanted to spend a little more time talking about my golf game this week. So played 3 rounds of golf since the last time we spoke, and had gotten a text from Bill, who I had met last week, saying that he was playing on Thursday afternoon, wanted to know if I could join him, and worked out, was able to find some time in my schedule. So Thursday afternoon at Oriole Golf Club with Bill, a regular playing partner of his, high school friend Randall, and I apologize. We had a 4th show up kind of late. I wish I could remember his name, but good guy, lives in South Florida, had newly moved closer to Oriole and was looking for a home golf course. So gorgeous day on Thursday afternoon. I would say it was in the mid 70s when we teed off. We teed off late. We had a 2:30 tee time, didn't tee off until 3:30 because the course was packed. Again, the Canadians, the Quebec license plates, just owned the parking lot during the week. The golf course had been backed up all day, and once we teed off, we made decent time. But getting off the tee definitely started out a little late. But I came out of the gates firing on all cylinders on Thursday after a good day with the driver the week before. Came out, picked up where I left off, hitting driver well, and parred the first 5 holes of the day on Thursday. And that may be a record. I don't know. It's not something I keep track of, but 5 pars in a row for me is a pretty good run. And it's interesting to do that playing with 2 people that I had never played with before who were looking at me like I must be a scratch golfer. And the rest of the day proved that that wasn't true, but kind of a nice feeling to go out and play with some people you haven't played for and just put on a show to start the day. So, like I said, 5 straight pars, then finished the front 9, bogey, double bogey, bogey, for a 41 on the front. I was a little disappointed in that after 5 straight pars. Would have loved to have shot a 39, something under 40, but good way to start the day. Turned the corner and we were hustling because we knew it was going to be a challenge. Sunlight was going to be a challenge. So we really wanted to, I think initially thought we were only going to get 14 or 15 in, but every time we played a hole, we thought, let's play another one and let's play another one. And before you knew it, we were getting pretty close to closing this thing out. Ended up shooting 46 on the back, 2 pars, 5 bogeys, and 2 doubles for an 87 on Thursday, which decent number. But again, given the way I started, was a little disappointed that I couldn't keep it going. Friday morning, had my golf tech lesson. Walked in, Reggie asked what I wanted to work on, and I told him that at the moment, I really felt like I had found something with driver, didn't want to mess with that, but did want to circle back to what we had worked on the week before, which was not flipping the wrist. And I told him that I had a theory that I had put in place that part of the reason why I flipped the wrist is because of my posture, and that the upper half of my body gets too far behind the ball at impact, and I'm reaching a little bit for the ball and creating a flip, whereas if I stand more upright over the ball at impact, it would be easier to not flip. And he kind of shook his head and he said, yeah, there's something to that. And then he went on to say, but there's something I've been working on and working on it with a few different people. And he wanted to talk about hammering the nail. And I've heard this and read this other places, but basically the way Reggie put it is if there was a nail that we were hitting with a sledgehammer, say into a baseboard, we wouldn't flip. We'd have a motion that would allow us to drive that nail into the baseboard because we're just pushing it in there. So he set up a little exercise, which was a thin swim noodle on the ground, and on the end of that, a half of a golf ball. And basically the instruction was to hold a hammer, lean over, and just hit the golf ball to make the noodle move forward like it was a nail and move it into the wall, which I did. And the whole time he's recording and or watching video, and he's like, look, see, there's no flip there. You're hitting the nail on the head with the hammer, and you don't need to flip your wrist to make that happen. We continue to work on it, continue to talk about it for a little bit. And I said, the one problem with this exercise is if I'm hammering a nail, I don't move the hammer like a golf club. Like, I don't know what the distance is that your golf club moves away from the golf ball. When you think about it, it's moving quite a distance, and then you've got to bring it back and hammer that nail again. So with a hammer, I'm moving it 2 inches from that nail head and hammering the nail. If I moved it 2 feet away from that nail head and swung it, odds are I would miss the nail. And he's like, no, that's not going to happen. He's like, go ahead and do it. So I pulled the hammer back like I was swinging a golf club, and I missed the pretend nail every time. And I said, see, like, that's the issue. Yeah, I could do that with a golf club, and I do it with a golf club. There's times where I'm just I'm under a tree, I'm in a bad spot, and I just have to bump the ball forward out into the fairway. I'm not taking a full swing. So it's almost like a putting stroke. And I don't miss the ball with the putter because the putter's straight back and straight through. It's the distance that the club travels, whether it's a pitching wedge or 9-iron or driver. The further that club head gets from the ball, the more things all have to go right to get it back to the ball and make the proper impact. So it was a good representation of what I should be trying to do, but a little flawed, I think, in its simplicity, because again, swinging a golf club, taking that backswing and then hitting the ball is very different than moving a hammer 2 inches away from a nail and hitting the nail. And I think that's a big piece of it. So anyway, worked on it. Good lesson. Went out Saturday. Still feeling pretty good because, like I said, I'd been hitting driver really well, hitting my irons pretty well. So on Saturday, went out, shot 45 on the front. That's 3 pars, 5 bogeys, and 1 quadruple bogey, and 8 on a par 4, and on an easy par 4. And this theme will continue throughout what I talk about through my weekend at golf, is that you hear that a lot. It's like, just don't let the big numbers creep onto the scorecard. And trust me when I tell you, I am not out there trying to let the big numbers creep onto the scorecard. On this particular hole, I hit the driver pretty well, but a little right. And the problem with a little right is you're in the trees. And if I'd hit it a lot right, I would have been in the next fairway over. And really, it's a pretty good shot back into the green. But because I didn't hit it far enough right, I had tree trouble. Had to keep the ball low, had to try and punch it out back into the fairway. And as I did that, I opened the club face, hit a poor shot, only went, I don't know what it went, 10 or 15 yards, had to hit another one, hit that one over to the green into a bunker. You've heard this story. Like, I'm not trying every shot I take, I think, I'm not dwelling on the last one. All right, hit a bad shot. Let's just get up there. Let's hit a good one here and let's recover. There's some holes where it just doesn't happen. It's bad shot after bad shot after bad shot after bad shot. And by the time it's all done, you put up an 8 on what was an easy par 4. And frustrating, right? So I shot 45. If I bogey that hole, I shoot 42 on the front. But again, this is what happened. So on the back on Saturday, I went out and shot 46, which is 4 pars, 1 bogey, and 4 double bogeys. So again, allowing the doubles to find their way onto the scorecard. 91 on Saturday, not what I was looking to do. So that brings me to Sunday. And before I talk about Sunday's round, I'm going to play a recording that I made in my car on the way to the golf course. I'm going to apologize in advance for the quality of the sound. Not sure what happened. You'll be able to hear it, understand it, but it is a little fuzzy. I'm playing it anyway because, as you'll hear in this clip, what I said is I'm going to play this. No matter what happens, I'm going to play this. So without further ado, let me hit you with the clip and what I had to say in the car on my way to the golf course on Sunday. All right, Sunday morning, I am in the car on the way to the golf course. Currently, the temperature is 56 degrees, but it should warm up and be a beautiful day. I think a few holes in, be into the 60s, and again, should be a great day for golf. I've been hitting the ball pretty well the past couple days. It really was thinking about it last night, frustrated with some of the decisions I made on the course yesterday. I think I could have put up a good number, didn't. And so today, that's what's on my mind. Is today is not a practice round. Today is a day to go out and see what I can do. And I've got to make good decisions. Yesterday, I've talked about it on the podcast that don't always have to hit the longest club in the bag. I hit the 4 hybrids in some places that hurt me, where if I had hit probably a 6 iron, would have had a better result. So going after it today. And I'll play this either way. I could just ignore it, delete it if I go out and shoot a 98. But I want everybody to know that my goal today is to go out and shoot better than 85. That's the goal. And that's 85 is 13 over. Capable of doing that. And know I'm going to make some pars out there today. I've got to keep the big numbers off the scorecard. Bogeys are fine. It's another thought in my mind is that if I'm in a bad position, if I hit a bad drive, my thought process shouldn't be, how do I recover and make a par here? That's the thing that leads to the hero shots. My thought process is going to be, let's save bogey. Let's move on to the next hole. We'll make some pars and maybe we'll throw in a birdie in there somewhere. So I'll report back. But that's the goal today. Shoot better than 85 on what should be a beautiful Super Bowl Sunday, early in the day. Get out, play golf, get some things done around the house, hang out and watch Patriots and Seahawks, go Seahawks, and see what I can do today. So there you go. On my way to the golf course, committed to doing everything I could to shoot no worse than an 85 on Sunday. And on the golf course, I told Jason and Al, who I was playing with on Sunday, also played with them on Saturday, that was my goal. No practice round today. Going out. I'm going to do everything I can. Keep, same thing, big numbers off the card. Go out there and shoot no worse than an 85. And for a little while on Sunday, kind of looked like I had a shot at making that happen. Now, I didn't hit the ball as well as I had been hitting it over the past week. Driver, not great. First hole. So the first hole on Sunday hit a slice that, and I've talked about it before, to the right of the first fairway is the driving range. If you hit it too far right, ball's out of bounds on the driving range. I didn't hit it quite that far right, but I hit it so it landed almost against the fence that separates the course and the driving range. And it was short. It was not a great ball. Had trees in the way, didn't have a great shot from there. Had to basically punch out into the fairway. But I did that well. I hit a good punch right back out in the middle of the fairway, par 5, left myself 175 yards in with the wind. I hit a 7-iron that I hit really well and landed just off the front of the green, just on the fringe, but in a place where I could putt. So on the card, it'll say a 2-putt because there were 2 putts once I was on the green. But really, I took 3 putts at it and started the day with a bogey. But that's how driver went most of the day, is I struggled to hit it straight, and I couldn't find the distance that I had over the past couple of rounds. But all that being said, I did accomplish my mission of keeping the big numbers off of the card over the front 9. So front 9 on Sunday, went out, shot a 42 on the front, 3 pars and 6 bogeys. But it shows how important keeping those big numbers are off the card. So when I look at, say, my back 9 on Saturday, I had 1 more par. I had 4 pars, but I only had 1 bogey and I had 4 doubles for 46. So the front 9 on Sunday, 3 pars, 6 bogeys for 42. So I'm on track. On the back, I just couldn't keep it going. Front 9, even though I didn't drive the ball well, I continued to find my way out of trouble and make bogey. On the back, I think the driving accuracy deteriorated and I just couldn't keep it up. I couldn't keep saving holes. And on the back, I shot, it was the worst 9 holes of that 3-hole stretch. So 1 par, 3 bogeys, 1 double, and 4 triples for a 53 on the back. So I missed my goal of 85 by 10 strokes and shot a 95 on Sunday. What do I say about that 95? I don't know. I tried to figure it out. I'm still trying to figure it out as I'm doing the podcast and going through numbers. I think my driving accuracy deteriorated throughout the day, and a couple of shots, I was hitting 3 off the tee because I hit the ball just way out of bounds. I had a few that the drives were just horrendous. Even if they were inbounds, they were in such a terrible spot that it really killed the hole. I don't know. I wish I knew why. Beautiful day, beautiful weather. I would say that I felt a little bit on Sunday. My back was sore. My hip was sore. I really don't think that was it. It did remind me that one of my New Year's resolutions was to get in better golf shape, which is better shape in general. And we're into February, and I haven't done a good job of that so far. I've really got to work at that and work on my physical fitness, because it does. I think 3 rounds of golf over 4 days starts to take a toll on an older body. But again, that's not the excuse. It just comes down to, I'm not a good enough ball striker. I'm not a good enough ball striker to continually dig myself out of trouble over and over and over again. The other thing that happened on Sunday that hadn't happened earlier is I hit bunkers. And I told Reggie this, that a bunker is at least a 2-stroke penalty for me. I cannot get out of a bunker. Or if I do, I get so far out of it that just in a terrible place anyway. So bunkers are, I'd say they are my greatest weakness right now. And it's absolutely at least a 2-stroke penalty, sometimes a 3-stroke penalty if I put a ball in a bunker. And I just left shots in some bad spots. On Saturday, I made a par on the 15th hole, and it's one of the toughest holes on the course. It's a slight dogleg left, but it's long. It's every bit of 400 yards and a narrow green that slopes to the sides. If you want to miss that green, short is really the only place to miss it. If you miss it left or right, it's almost impossible to hit a chip or a pitch on that green that stays on the green. Long is trouble because there's tree trouble. I would guess if I looked at my history on the course, I make par on that hole. It's the least frequent hole that I make par on the course. It's just a tough hole. And Saturday, I made a really nice par there. Hit the green on my second shot. Long, had a long way back to the pin, but great 2-putt, made par. Sunday, hit a good drive. My second shot was pin high, but to the left of the green. And it's just death. I tried to pitch up onto the green, but I'm so afraid that the pitch is going to roll off to the right side of the green that I try to baby it, and then I leave it short. And then the next one, I hit long, and I'm off the right side of the green. It's why the hole is designed the way it is. Just, again, it goes back to, it frustrates me, I guess. I am trying to keep the big numbers off the scorecard. I'm just not sure what I could have done on that hole, other than being better around the greens, being a better at chipping and pitching the ball. Really is what would help with that problem. But even then, I've got to be a lot better, because I'm telling you, I've seen good golfers make big numbers there for the same reason. It's a really tough hole if you end up to the left or to the right. So it's just how it went Sunday afternoon. And I left the recording in the beginning. Like I said, I could take it out and you would never know that I committed to going out and shooting an 85 or better. But I didn't. I shot 95 on Sunday, 42 on the front, 53 on the back. And there's my Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde golf game. That's two different people. I'm working on it. I'll continue to work on it. But frustrating end to the weekend. Come home, had a little time before the Phoenix Open came on. Tuned in for that, and it's a great golf tournament. If you haven't seen it, the Phoenix Open, it's the Waste Management Open. It's unique in that it's a little bit of a Ryder Cup atmosphere. A lot of energy. The crowd's a little different. The 16th hole is a par 3 inside of a stadium, and the crowd is tough. They want players making holes in one, at the very least, being close to that green. And if you're not, they're going to boo you. So just a lot of energy. I think it's a fun golf tournament. I'm not sure what I would think if I had to go in there and I had to hit that shot, but I think it's a fun tournament. Scotty Scheffler struggled a little bit early, made a big comeback on Saturday and Sunday, finished a couple shots off the lead, but it was really Hideki Matsuyama's tournament and led most of the way. He's leading by a stroke on the 18th hole, just needs to make par. But the interesting thing about Hideki that week had been he struggled with driver. And I think the graphic that they had put up, and I don't remember if it was going into 16, 17, but on Sunday, he had hit 2 out of 12 fairways and did a great job of recovering from wherever he was. But Gets to the 18th hole. He's got a 1-stroke lead. Needs to hit a drive about 300 yards to cover water. And then on the far left side of the fairway, there's a big church pew sand trap. That terrible spot. And this is where he puts his ball with his drive on 18. Hits his next shot and basically hits the edge of one of these hills that's in the bunker and doesn't get to the green. Long story short, the bad drive leads to a bogey on 18, brings him back into a tie with Chris Goddard. So they take a little time off. They go back to the 18th tee. Goddard puts his drive in the fairway. Go back to Hideki. He hits almost an identical drive to what he had hit in regulation, but this one doesn't cover the water. It's short of the church pews, hits land on the far side of the water, but hits, I think, an upright for one of the tents and bounces into the water. So he gets to drop in a difficult spot. I think he had 125, 130 yards out. Hits a great third shot in. He was 15 feet probably for par, which is impressive from where he was. But Goddard had hit the green on his second shot and sinks his birdie putt to win the tournament. We never really found out what would have happened. Would Hideki have made that putt to save par? But it led me back to where my golf game is. And I am not Hideki Matsuyama. It's amazing. It's amazing that he maintained the lead all day long as poorly as he was driving the ball. It's a testament to the rest of his golf game that he was able to continue to dig out of hole after hole after hole. But it caught him. It caught him on the 18th hole and on the playoff. The bad drives, they got him. And Goddard goes on to win the tournament. Hideki finishes second. And to me, it's just a reminder of how important it is to get off the tee and leave yourself in a place where your next shot, if it's a par 4, you have an opportunity to hit that green in 2. If it's a par 5, you have an opportunity to set yourself up to hit that green in 3. My golf game, I would guess your golf game, depending on who's listening, again, we are not professional golfers. And I can't continue to leave myself in bad positions. And it shows in the way I score. When I'm hitting driver well, I'm much more successful than when I'm not. A couple of interesting things I looked at. So I went back and I looked at my Thursday round, my Saturday round, and my Sunday round. Thursday, which was my best round of the week at 87, it was my lowest fairways hit. I only hit 14% of fairways on Thursday. But this is why I think this is always an interesting number. I didn't miss by much. I hit the ball well. I hit it long. And if I was off the fairway, I was a couple of feet off of the fairway in the first cut of rough in a perfect position to hit a shot into a green. On Saturday, I had my best driving day. I hit 56% of fairways, but didn't hit the ball as long, as well as I hit it on Thursday. But still, that 56% of fairways helped, and I shot 91 on Saturday. Come back to Sunday, I only hit 21% of fairways, and the fairways that I did hit, the balls were short. They were probably 30 or 40 yards short of where they were on Thursday, and that matters. Even with it, on Sunday, I hit 28% of greens in regulation, my best day of the week. Thursday was next best to 22%, and Saturday I hit 17%. So if I hit 28% of greens in regulation, why did I have my worst day on Sunday? Well, the best day I had, which was Thursday, I had 28 putts for the day. 0 3-putts. Saturday was my second best round with 30 putts, 30 total putts. I had 1 3-putt. And on Sunday, I had 35 total putts and 2 3-putts. So there you go. Sunday, worst round of the week. I made 1 up and down. Saturday, I made 5. And Thursday, I made 3. So again, it's not just driver. It is the play around the green. It is making putts. And I didn't feel like I putted the ball poorly on Sunday. Just felt like some of the things that were going in earlier in the week didn't fall. So that's it. That's my golf review for the weekend. I wish I had, again, every week I wish I could come out here and say, oh, I shot 83, I shot 81. I'm getting there. I'm going to break 80 before I know it. But continue to struggle a little bit right now. And I thought this week was better than last week, but I'm still not where I was late in 2025. And I'm trying to find my way back there. This coming weekend, I've got my sons home. Looking forward to seeing them. Still plan on getting out and playing some golf. And I've got to find a way. I've got to find a way to consistently be shooting rounds in terms of handicap. I mentioned last week that I had some low rounds coming off the card, and if I didn't play good golf, it was going to affect that number, and it has. My lowest handicap of all time was a 15.5, and that happened on January 18th. And as of today, I'm up almost a full point to 16.4. So the handicap is going in the wrong direction. But that's okay. Like I said, that's who I am right now. That's where my golf game is right now. And I've got to find a way to turn that around. It's all got to be better. It definitely starts with driver, but the driver's got to be better. Approach has got to be better. I've got to be better around the greens, and I've got to make more putts. So it's that easy, right? Just improve every part of my golf game. But that's where I am, and it's all part of the journey. What I would say is I enjoyed being out there all 3 rounds, had a good time, enjoyed the weather, even when things weren't going my way, didn't get too frustrated. I'm battling. I'm out there. I'm trying to find ways to shoot better scores, but it didn't happen. Didn't happen for me the way I would have liked for it to have happened this weekend, but that's okay. I'm still happy to be out there. Still excited to come here and report back to everybody on how I'm doing. And I'm going to figure it out. So what do you think? If you had a piece of advice to give me, what would that be? Feel free. Leave me a comment, send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. And again, it's wintertime in most of the country and large portions of the world. And I played 3 rounds of golf last week. Wasn't exactly the way I would have liked to have played, but I can't be upset about it. I've got to be happy that I'm still out there. I'm still getting an opportunity to play golf every week. And I'm going to get there. Again, couple steps back right now, but we'll turn it around, get out there, play better golf, and I'll report back. I'll let you know how it's going. Thanks everybody for being here with me this week. I'll see you next week. If you made it this far, thank you. I can't tell you how much it means to me that you hung in there for the whole show. If you enjoyed it, please give me a like, subscribe, and maybe share this with a friend. It really helps to grow the community. And let me know you're out there. If you listen on Spotify, leave a comment or a question, or send me an email at breaking80over50@gmail.com. I promise I'll read every one. All music was provided by Epidemic Sound, and I'll leave links to any of the content that I mentioned during the podcast in the show notes. Keep swinging, keep smiling, and remember, it's a game. Get out there and have fun. Thanks, everybody.